What really, made it to the point that inspired Tupac to want to go for the role Lucky and Poetic Justice? Poetic Justice is a must-watch classic if y'all ain't ever seen it. For my audience, Lucky was a character that I so happen to like because I like how the way Lucky was passionate about, music, and then knowing that, you know, after his cousin had passed away, he wanted to keep and hold on to the music so he can do something with it. That really showed me that he wanted his cousin's music to forever live on. And it really showed me that how much of a compassionate person that Lucky was, and that, he really, was the definition of real in that film and Poetic Justice. And he really didn't like to tolerate nobody bad mouthing nobody that's trying to, do something with their life and their career. As he told Chicago, when Chicago tried to downplay something that's somebody else's music career and them trying to pursue a music career, and that, Chicago was kind of like downplaying and looking like, saying like, what you doing? At least he trying to do something with his life, make something out of himself. And saying like, that Chicago was a hating ass nigga, which, Chicago kind of played that character. That character was a hating, individual that was low key, insecure, and let his insecure ways affect and try to rub off on other people because, he had shortcomings. If we, let's just say that, Chicago was according to Regina King's character, that also was in Poetic Justice, he couldn't, fully satisfy his woman. So, with that going on and her telling him, like, that's why I'm cheating on you with another nigga, Chicago was going through a lot. So it was kind of like, it was like misery loves company type of thing. But Lucky's character wasn't finna let no individual downplay or try to stop anything that, he felt like he was trying to pursue and that he had, a tunnel vision set on. He wasn't letting no one finna interfere. He wasn't going to let anyone interfere with that or try to disturb that focus that he was, that drive that, that he was on as far as that Poetic Justice. Because, he was a mailman. He delivered, a mail. And this was something that was something temporary for him because he was really trying to, get into music and, see where he can really like, take things on a music level, as far as like also what I was just saying about his cousin, with his music as well. So honestly, Lucky's character, he was so focused, but at the same time, we all get distracted. You get distracted because it started off kind of rocky with Janet Jackson's character as Justice. Because Janet Jackson's character, Justice, was someone that I feel that was like, with the passing away of her boyfriend in the film as well, it was played by Q-Tip. She kind of didn't really like, have no trust factor when it come to men, low tolerance, a lot of, things that a lot of black women go through nowadays, pretty much, allowing the past to dictate our future type of thing. And it kind of caused a riffraff between her character, Justice, and, Lucky's character. Because Lucky had a low, like, I don't want to say low patience, but a low tolerance. I guess you could say low patience. And he wasn't really finna like tolerate no disrespect or, especially if he felt like he was going out his way to try to, create peace. But when like you have a negative vibe, attached to you, it seems like, okay, I tried to be nice, but, let me say some other thing to get your attention. Since you ain't trying to like, keep a conversation smooth and keep, the energy on the positive note. So when he said something that she didn't like and that she felt like that was disrespectful, Lucky was, as if Lucky was saying like, I can only just talk to you what you would answer to. And it's sad because Justice's character, I mean, she was a woman that of class, but sometimes it could be as if like you are what you answer to. So it's like if you're not answering to positivity and you're not answering to respect, then you answering to disrespect, that must mean that you really don't respect yourself. And it almost is deemed as if Justice's character was kind of like on that narrow track, on that narrow path of, it's like, do she love herself, or can she? And if she don't, will she be able to learn to love herself? Based off of the person that she did love was no longer in the picture. And that's what also Justice had to come to, realization, is that how important it is to love yourself first before you try to, love anyone else afterwards. And it took me lucky, I feel like, for Justice to realize the importance of, loving yourself. And, without that, you won't be able to provide any love for anyone else, because lucky, the nice side of him, which she did see, which she didn't know that he had, because, how could you know when you kind of like got that wall up for no reason? So that situation with Lucky, I feel like Lucky's character really showcased off Tupac Shakur's growth of an actor, because it also gave him a range, a type of range that, you wouldn't typically, be, how could I say this, like expected for him to his character to be like of Juice that we seen, and also with other films like us, the other one that Gangster, but he was playing the cop. I can't really think of the name of the movie because I always draw blanks when it comes down to names of movies. But gang related. There we go. And also with he had with this other guy with Bokeem Woodbine, the character, the legend Bokeem Woodbine. Not him, but it's this other white Caucasian guy also with Gridlock. So we also got introduced, after Poetic Justice, we got introduced to Tupac's range of an actor for us to be able to see, like, okay, like he ain't always can be able to, he's not the one that's always showcasing up being the rowdy person. Like, you can also see the range of the emotions of, his highs and his lows, for him to be able to showcase off that side, a softer side. And I feel like that range, from Poetic Justice opened up doors for Gridlock and gang related, especially Gridlock. But so Lucky, I feel like was I don't want to say it was like a challenging role for Tupac, but it could have been a challenging, view from the audience aspect of watching us see see Tupac portray a character that we normally don't see him portray, because it's the range just, like I said, we always see the angry side. So to be able to see the ups and downs and the highs and lows of different emotions from Tupac Shakur and Poetic Justice, I feel like that he wanted to do that so it can open up more doors, in Hollywood. I don't want to say in Hollywood, but as far as like film wise, for him to be able to showcase off, the range and for him to be able to be respected as an actor instead of just as a rapper that's trying to act. And that's what I really gravitated on when I seen Poetic Justice, because I felt like when I saw that film, I felt like, when I first saw it, it was 1994, I was 4 years old, so I didn't really understand what's going on. But after the years, when you go back and revisit and watch stuff over again, classics over again, you could have a clear mindset because you're older and your mentality is a little grown, a little more mature. I saw that this was the movie right here. I felt like that was some of a lot of Tupac's best work, and it's really opened up the doors to really showcase off for the people to see him and his range as an actor, So it really is no surprise when you went to art school in high school, performing arts school in high school, to really showcase and really study the art of acting, and it really it set him up in the later years for the world to see it. So Poetic Justice, that's the reason Tupac was, I feel, with him, and also with him and John Cena, which at the time having a relationship as far as knowing each other, and John really understanding Tupac as a person and challenging him also for that role. When they was on a good note, I feel like, that was something that was worthwhile, something that the audience and the people needed to see. And I'm glad I was able to see that and witness that, because it really showed the growth of Tupac as an actor. So, Sensei's reality, and I want to just give y'all a little tidbit on, TuPac's role in Poetic Justice and why I felt like he chose to, go with that role and further pursue it, you know, for that movie. So y'all like and subscribe to the channel, and if y'all want more Tupac videos, leave it in the comments. And I'm out. I'll see y'all again later. One love. Peace.